This is You've Already Been Hacked, recorded on 25 July 2020. Welcome to this week's News of the Week. I'm your professor of cyber risk. Let's get into it. There have been a lot of interesting hacks this week. Some from the usual suspects and some that just are, I don't know. We should just be getting used to it in 2020, I guess. A hacking suspect has been extradited to the U.S. from Cyprus. A 20-year-old individual from Cyprus has been extradited to the United States to face charges of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, conspiracy to commit computer fraud, and identity theft and extortion related to protected computer systems. Oh, by the way, this individual is Hezbollah-associated narco money laundering. Chinese hackers indicted on multiple charges for stealing intellectual property. So another hit from the U.S. Department of Justice. A 7 July indictment has recently been unsealed, charging 2 Chinese citizens in the connection with a decade of hacking. The individuals allegedly hacked into networks at numerous companies around the world and stole their intellectual property as well as other sensitive data. The defendants allegedly hacked both for personal gain and on behalf of various Chinese government agencies. Now, that's not completely unusual. There is some information out there that suggests that some nation-state actors, while they're working for their primary employer during the day, a la an intelligence agency, a military organization, paramilitary organization, something in support of national defense of that country, whichever one it would be, in this case China, but it could be others. They take their day job and they take their day pay. And at night, they side hustle and they do it for themselves. The alleged individuals also attempted to exploit cryptocurrency by threatening to post stolen source code online. Both are facing charges of conspiracy to commit computer fraud, conspiracy to commit theft of trade secrets, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, unauthorized access to a computer, and aggravated identity theft. You two have fun. Blackbaud ransomware attack affects multiple universities. So, going even further backwards in time, we learned that this week, a May 2020 ransomware attack against Blackbaud was compromised, having personal information belonging to staff and students from at least 10 colleges and universities, as well as nonprofits, exploited and lifted. Blackbaud disclosed the incident on the 16th of July, noting that it had paid the cybercriminals' demands with confirmation that the copy of the material they had stolen had been removed and destroyed. I'm sure that's what actually happened. Some of the institutions that have confirmed to have been affected, at least by the BBC, include the University of York, Oxford Brookes University, University of Leeds, the University of London, the University of Reading, University College of Oxford, Ambrose University in Alberta, Canada, the Human Rights Watch, Young Minds, Rhode Island School of Design in the United States, and University of Exeter. If you're a CISO or a CIO of a university somewhere out there and you're affiliated with Blackbaud, you may want to look into how secure your systems are right now. Mysterious attacks wiping databases across the internet. An unknown hacker has been wiping misconfigured databases for no apparent reason other than they're connected to the internet and misconfigured and accessible. The attacker overwrites the data with the word Meow. That's very cute. At least 1,800 databases have been affected. The attack first came to the attention of a researcher on Tuesday when he discovered a database that stored the user details of the UFO VPN had been destroyed. UFO VPN had already been in the news this Tuesday because the World Readable Database exposed a wealth of sensitive user information, including account passwords in plain text, that's always good, VPN session secrets and tokens, IP addresses of both devices, and the VPN servers they connected to. There goes your misatrib and your ability to not know who's using your VPN. Connection timestamps, geotags, device and OS characteristics, as well as apparent domains from which advertisements are injected into free users' web browsers. It's exactly what you want your VPN to be doing. There's some more information related to the hack heard around the world last week, which is the Twitter hack of those major blue-checked members. So Twitter has released more information about the hack after the hackers managed to gain access to Twitter's internal system, also known as a Slack channel. They used Twitter's tech support tools to target approximately 130 accounts. They changed passwords of 45 accounts and downloaded data from others. Twitter says the hackers who hijacked the high-profile accounts last week accessed private messages from 36 accounts, including one that belongs to an elected official from the Netherlands. There's a new crypto miner botnet out in the wild. The Prometi, I think I've pronounced that correctly, cryptocurrency mining botnet spreads in several ways, including through the exploit Eternal Blue for Windows SMB, or server messenger block. The malware campaign appears to have been active since this past March. The botnet uses techniques related to the MITRE attack framework, most notably disabling security tools, remote file copy, obfuscated files or information, PowerShell, service execution, masquerading, and connection proxy. All sorts of family fun. These are not insignificant techniques, so the fact that this attacker is using all this stuff, they're well versed, which means they're either actually educated or have been self-educated over a long period of time. They may even be professionalized, who knows. Ransomware operators demand $7.5 million from an internet service provider. The internet service provider happens to be the Telecom Argentina. Their internal network was hit with the Revol ransomware this past week. The operators are demanding a payment of $7.5 million. The ransomware affected more than 18,000 workstations. The good news is the attack did not affect internet connectivity, telephony, or cable access. But some of the company's websites had been unavailable since last Saturday. Telecom Argentina has not issued a statement, but lucky for us, employees have been sharing information about the incident on social media, so hashtag I got hacked. Not sure if that's the hashtag, but go ahead and look for it anyway. The COVID-19 test and tracing program out of the UK did not complete required privacy assessments prior to its launch. So the UK's Department of Health has admitted that it launched its test and tracing COVID-19 effort without conducting a DPIA, or Data Protection Impact Assessment, as required by the GDPR. The Open Rights Group, which is a digital rights organization, says that the acknowledgement means the program has been operating unlawfully since it launched on the 28th of May. The organization that runs the test and trace program says it's working to complete the DPIA. Okay, so I don't think this was malicious. I think this just happens to be, look, we're in the middle of a pandemic. We're trying to get this stuff out here. They made the program, they got it together, and they shipped it. And then someone rose their hand and said, excuse me, I think we forgot to do a thing. And here we are. Cloudflare's DNS caused problems last week. Some of us know that. So Cloudflare says that its network outage on Friday, July 17th, was caused by an error in a router configuration update. When that router got updated on the global backbone, it had announced its update and to multiple other routers and caused some portions of the network to not be available. So that propagated and just caused all sorts of havoc. Now, the outage lasted less than a half hour and affected only certain geographic areas. You might have been in that area, but you know what? A half hour without Facebook is still a half hour without Facebook. Maybe that's good. Maybe it's bad. 2 water management facilities in Israel have been impacted by cyber attacks this past June. Israel's water authority said 2 more of its water management facilities were targeted by cyber attacks in June. Another attack targeted a water treatment facility in April. Israel's National Cyber Directorate has issued an alert urging water treatment facilities to change passwords for internet-connected equipment and recommended they shut systems down or take them offline if they cannot change those passwords. Now, some of this it could be hard-coded. Some of it could be very old. Some of them could be one-off systems that are performing a function that otherwise they never even thought would ever need to have a more secure password associated with it. Ah, the joys of aging infrastructure. A Maryland Health Service organization has been hit with ransomware. The computer systems at Lorien Health Services, an elder care and nursing services organization in Maryland, were hit with the NetWalker ransomware this past June. The attackers stole and encrypted data from Lorien. To Lorien's credit, they said pound sand, and they did not pay the ransom. Well, having morals and scruples apparently didn't pay off. The malware's operators began posting the stolen data online. The compromised information included names, social security numbers, and medical diagnoses and treatments. The incident, according to a notification put out by Health and Human Services, impacted close to 50,000 people. This past week, the Chronicle of Higher Education announced to its customers and users that on the 19th of June, the Chronicle of Higher Education on the 24th of July announced that on the 19th of June, they had completed an internal investigation of reports it received that some of their data may have become accessible online. Their investigation confirmed that unauthorized parties made data from online accounts to Chronicle.com, Philanthropy.com, and ChronicleVitality.com and made that information available online. Upon learning this, Chronicle launched an investigation with the assistance of leading cybersecurity firms, and law enforcement was notified. Through the investigation, Chronicle determined the unauthorized parties had exploited a vulnerability in one of the Chronicle servers, through which they were able to obtain limited account information. So out of an abundance of caution, Chronicle reset all passwords to all online accounts on the 16th of June. If you have not logged in since that date, the next time you log in, you're going to be prompted to change your password. Have fun with that. And finally, the U.S. military is fighting against information warfare tactics. So, in one of the clearest examples of how the military wants to defeat adversaries using information warfare is by publicly disclosing what those enemies have been doing and what capabilities they have. That's great, right? Because it just puts that sunshine on those activities, and hopefully they'll stop doing it. One of the first ways the Department of Defense has sought to test out this is through U.S. Cybercom's posting of malware samples to the public resource Virus Total. Malware samples discovered in the course of operations by the Cyber National Mission Forces are posted to the site to inform network owners. It also helps with antivirus organizations build patches against that malicious code and helps identify the enemy tools that are being used in ongoing campaigns. So these type of public disclosures are really great. Again, they kind of help all of us, and they really do help to show what type of tools or tactics are being used out there in the public domain. That's all for the news of the week. I'm your professor of cyber risk. We'll talk again soon.